Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Dear viewers and listeners, Assalamu alaikum. I've introduced this segment to address critical questions that may be of interest to mankind. The written contents of these videos are available on my website, koranwisdom.com, in Q&A section. Each video will be short and focused on a specific question only. Today's question is, why do religious leaders exploit religion? Well, if you ask this question to any member of the clergy belonging to any faith, he or she will vehemently refute this charge. Instead, the argument put forward by the religious leader is that for worldly knowledge, you go to schools, colleges, and universities and seek guidance from those teachers and professors who are experts in their field of learning. So what is wrong in it if you seek guidance from the clergyman in religious matters? Apparently, this argument appears logical. However, when we analyze the two situations, we notice significant differences between the position of a religious leader and a school or university professor. To keep the discussion focused, I will analyze the main differences between the domain of a Muslim religious leader and an expert in worldly knowledge. First, we'll look at universal nature of worldly disciplines. The subjects taught in a school or university and the fundamental principles upon which each discipline is based are universal in nature. These principles have been tested and applied successfully worldwide at a given point in time. For example, the law of demand works in the same manner in all economies, while the gravitational laws operate in the same manner in all parts of the world. While the glorious Quran declares Islam as the only true religion with God, for example, chapter 3, verse 19 of glorious Quran reads, "Religion with God is Islam." The mullahs, peers, and religious scholars have divided faith into different groups and sects to divide Muslim ummah into multiple segments. To achieve this objective, they persuade ignorant mankind to leave glorious Quran and instead rely on the man-made literature prepared by the sect leaders. The propagandist of each sect upholds his sect and condemns all other sects. So unlike worldly knowledge, the religion of Islam, as being observed and practiced by the Muslims, has multiple forms. There are fundamental differences in religious beliefs, practices, and rituals of each sect. So it is exceedingly difficult to pick and choose a particular sect to learn Islam. Now we'll look at the fact that worldly disciplines are pragmatic in nature. Well, professors or mentors who teach a particular subject in a school or university have first qualified the exam and then applied and analyzed the knowledge in a successful manner in their worldly lives. So there is a pragmatic dimension to each worldly discipline. However, the religious scholars in majority of the cases preach and rely on blind faith without any practical evidence of their postulates. 3. We know that worldly disciplines are tested. The success or failure of the principles of a worldly subject like economics or mathematics can be tested in the world with precise accuracy and then modified based on this experience. So the professor or the trainer who teaches these subjects in a school or university has the assurance that the principles being taught have proved to be successful in the worldly life. However, the success or failure of the beliefs of a particular sect can only be known on the judgment day when Allah Almighty will judge mankind for their deeds. In this world, there is no proof about the truthfulness of any particular sect. Finally, we look at the worldly rewards. The worldly reward for a school or university professor is his or her salary and other perks that are paid based on one's knowledge and experience in the related subject. While religion may only be preached for salvation in the hereafter, majority of the religious leaders prefer the worldly reward in the form of a strong political clout that is determined by the number of their followers, charity, donations, and a luxurious lifestyle for the religious leader. Consequently, every religious leader strives to promote his brand of Islam, relying on false hadiths, false stories of saints, and self-styled rituals to impress upon his followers that all other sects are wrong and only his followers will obtain salvation on the judgment day. This trait of mullahs and religious leaders is explained in chapter 9 verse 34 of glorious Quran in the following words: "O you who believe, Many of the rabbis and priests consume people's wealth illicitly and hinder from God's path. So the purpose of dividing people into different sects is to deviate people from the glorious Quran by relying on specific literature of the sect. In this manner, many followers of the sect also become financial supporters of the leader of the sect, enabling him to lead a luxurious life contrary to the teachings of the glorious Quran. These facts prove that the argument put forward by religious leaders and mullahs that people should come to them for religious guidance is naive and devoid of substance. Majority of the religious leaders exploit religion for their worldly gains and misguide mankind by deviating them from the glorious Quran. The glorious Quran highlights this fact in chapter 45 verses 6 and 7 in the following words. These are God's verses which we recite to you in truth. In which hadith after God and his revelations will they believe? Woe to every sinful liar. This verse of the glorious Quran is the cornerstone of faith. It refutes all hadiths and stories attributed to Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, other than what is given in the glorious Quran. So if someone must learn the religion of Islam, the only source is the glorious Quran that Allah Almighty has revealed to Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, for the guidance of whole mankind. If you feel difficulty in understanding something from the glorious Quran, then ask a person who can explain to you the spirit of glorious Quran from the Quran itself, instead of adding man-made stories of any past saint or prophet or a religious leader. Allah Almighty declares the glorious Quran as Kitabul Furqan, or a criterion. So it provides answer to every question ever raised in the past or any question that may ever be raised in the future, provided we read Quran for learning and not as a pastime, and apply reason to learn the spirit of the verses of glorious Quran. I conclude my monologue on the topic, why do religious leaders exploit religion, with a prayer that Allah Almighty may bless this effort and enable us to apply reason and seek guidance only from the glorious Quran in all matters of life. Please subscribe and share my channel for promoting teachings of glorious Quran to the mankind. May Allah reward your effort. Ameen.